Morning, Raptor Freak Alexiot's here. Monday morning, the morning of game two of the first round against the Philadelphia 76ers Toronto Raptors series tonight in Philadelphia. This is a big game in a lot of ways, but I do want to start this preview by saying that, listen, once again, Philadelphia is supposed to win these games. They have to hold their home court. And our whole goal in these first two games is to steal one of them. So if we can steal one tonight, that's great. But if it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean the series is over. That just means Philadelphia held serve. And it does, it is harder, obviously. But this team has shown in the history of the Raptors that we can come back from any kind of deficit and do crazy, incredible things when our back's against the wall. And that is one thing that we always need to remember as Raptor fans, to never count us out. That we have guys who really give a shit about winning. And they will do what it takes no matter who's there or who's available and stuff like that. And let's start with that, first of all, the injury report, because I'm sure a lot of people are very curious to hear what's going on with our Raptors that got hurt in game one. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of it's good and some of it's bad. Right now, officially, this is how they're listed on the injury report. Thaddeus Young was diagnosed Sunday with a hyperextended left thumb and is listed as doubtful today for game two. Barnes, Scotty, is diagnosed with a sprained left ankle after undergoing an MRI on Sunday and is listed as doubtful for game two. Gary Trent Jr. Is considered doubtful to play tonight with a non-COVID related illness. Now, we found out a lot more about Gary Trent Jr.'s issues in game one yesterday. Nick Nurse said that Gary's been sick all last week between the New York game of the season and the game one on Saturday. He has been sick this whole week and having a hard time. And actually, Nick was really surprised that he played in game one and tried to give a good effort. The reason now they're listing him for doubtful tonight, and I don't know if I totally believe that. Like, if all three of these guys are going to be out, then I understand. But if one of them's going to be back tonight, it'll be Gary Trent Jr. Because this is like, if he's sick and he can get well in the last 48 hours since the last game, and he can show up tonight and suit up, he will, trust me. Because this is the kind of thing, it's not an injury, it's an illness. And if it's just like the flu or something like that, and he was feeling it for most of last week, you would think that he would get through it and beat it very soon. Like, usually if you're sick, you're not sick for longer than a week. So I really hope that we'll get a pleasant surprise and we'll see Gary in the lineup tonight, that he won't miss any games. Now, the other two guys, I'm pretty sure they're both going to be out tonight. Like, this is not, part of it's good because a lot of the imaging and the x-rays are showing things are not broken for either one of the guys, that they're both just sprains. But still, technically, when you do something like sprain your ankle like Scotty did, you're going to be out for at least a week. And that sucks. That's the very bare minimum usually of being able to play quickly and come back is usually after a week. And hopefully that'll be the case. Maybe he'll only miss 1 or 2 games. If he can suit up for Saturday, that might be really, really good. But that's the way I'm looking at it with the injuries. On the other side, Charles Bassey's still not available for the Philadelphia 76ers, and also Jaden Springer. But I don't even know if he's on their playoff roster because he's actually kind of a fringe player, like a two-way player himself. All right, let's see what you guys are saying this morning. It's so good to see Tom Duke, as always, my good friend Tom Duke. He is so excited to see our boys bounce back. By that, he means bounce back into Embiid's face with an elbow or 2. Yeah, or 5, actually, he said. Yeah, there are some receipts, like I said yesterday, that the Raptors need to try and figure out or work out for tonight's game. A couple of receipts, as I put it. And, there's all kinds of different things we're going to talk about today about adjustments and how the Raptors need to play a whole lot different than they did in game one, for sure. Tom Duke's also saying, hoping you have answers for us on so many things, Lexi. So much in the air with this game. Yeah, if you guys have questions and stuff like that, we'll try and figure out. I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability, just as far as my insight. And some of the things that Nick Nurse said yesterday in the practice interview, very interesting stuff. I'll be talking about that. Fan Chunk saying, do we know what kind of illness Gary is having? Well, it's not COVID, at least. We know that for sure. I'm pretty sure it's just a normal flu. Like, he has the flu because it just looked like he was super weak. Like he like I said, he looked like anemic, or he just looked like he wasn't that energized or having any strength in his body. during the game in game one. So hopefully maybe he feels a lot better. It's a lot of rest, a lot of fluids, and echinacea. You get all that vitamin C in you, Gary Trent, and hopefully you'll have pep in your step and ready to go tonight. And sometimes these kind of things are weird for shooters or real athletes that really like to compete. We think about the game that Michael Jordan had in Utah, the flu game, where he went absolutely crazy in that game. Now, there's been some speculation that flu game by Michael Jordan might have been food poisoning by Pizza Hut in Utah, sending him some food that was tainted with something, is part of the reason why he was sick that day. But hopefully Gary will be fine. And like I said, hopefully he can play tonight. But if he doesn't, this is going to be a big night for next man up kind of mentality. And this is the thing. I want the guys, first of all, in the lineup already to pick up more weight now. If Scotty's not going to be there tonight, Gary's not going to be there, if Thad's not going to be there, that means Pascal, Fred, OG, Chris, Precious, all these other main regular guys have to go crazy tonight and do way more better than they usually do. And that'll be really important. Like, I specifically want to see Precious go off tonight. Like, I really want to see Precious get aggressive and really try and score and do everything he can on the defensive end properly, because that'll be really important. J.O.'s here. Okay, Phillies fans here already. Hey, what's up, buddy? Sorry to hear about Barnes. Hope he comes back for game 3. I'm a Sixers fan, but never want to see the injuries. Yeah, Jay, we did that prayer the other day. I'm not going to do that ever again because I feel like I jinxed our team and got, all these injuries in the game later that night. But yeah, we appreciate it that a Sixer fan doesn't like the injuries that happened in the game the other night. And you want to see the best of our team against you guys. It'll be real interesting tonight to see how we adjust with our lineup and who gets more minutes and who possibly may be leaned on more in different ways in the game tonight as far as things. I'm expecting Yuta Watanabe to actually be invited into the rotation tonight. And, they may actually bring out some of our smaller guards more often tonight, like Malachi Flynn or Armani Brooks, just to try and stop Maxey. Like, this is number one on my list to change about the game in the first game, is to really keep track of where Maxey is and try and slow him down. Because part of what he was doing in game 1 was he was just all over the place, free reign, and we weren't getting to him or stopping the ball enough. Like, he was coming downhill on us too much. And it may be that we need Malachi Flynn to come out there and just try and put the clamps on him. Try and do as much as he can. Like, I don't care, Malachi, if you're hitting your shot. If you can stop Maxey from scoring, you're going to have a good game tonight in my eyes. So, Malachi, if you get that chance to come out in the game tonight, shine like a star and do some things defensively that we may need. Now, of course, if you get an open shot, you better hit it. But if you can shut down Maxey or at least try and slow him down from what he did in game 1, you'd be a hero to me. I'll tell you right now. All right, Tom Duke saying, right on, J.O. Sprain is for sure not out. Yeah, this whole thing with Scotty Barnes is unfortunate. Listen, he was about to do something that had never been done by the Raptors, is get a triple-double in the playoffs. No Raptors ever gotten a triple-double in the playoffs, and Scotty was on his way. He would have gotten 2 more assists, I'm pretty sure, in the last quarter. Hopefully, he probably would have gone for it, and because he's never had a triple-double in his career in the regular season. It would be something else if he came out in his postseason debut and got a triple-double in his first playoff game. But that didn't happen. It wasn't to happen. His dreams were literally crushed to be able to do that. That sucks. Callie saying, morning, everyone. Our strategy should be to play hard and wear them down. Embiid was exhausted at the end of the game. We definitely have to come out with a different kind of energy tonight. Part of it is that these guys didn't understand the uptick in intensity and physicality and just what the playoffs are. You look at the roster of the Sixers, and they have guys who have been in this league for certain amounts of years. You got James Harden, you got Joel Embiid, you got Tobias Harris. These guys have all played in the playoffs a lot already, so they understand this environment already. And some of our guys were saying, yeah, we're ready, we'll understand. But until you actually put your feet in there and you get in it, you don't understand exactly how much more different it is. So hopefully these guys take it really seriously. Like, they have pride. They don't want to look like so shit like they did on Saturday night. They don't want people to be talking trash to us and telling us that we're stupid and we're horrible and rooting for them. Like, even with shorthanded stuff, so many people have written us off now that Scotty may be out for the series and stuff like that. I hate that because they don't understand how we've been this year. We have had guys hurt at all times during the season, and we've had guys step up and take their place and do different things. It's not ideal in the playoffs, obviously. And it sucks because we had a fully healthy roster at the beginning of game one, and now we have to make adjustments with our rotation and who's going to get more minutes because these guys are going to be missing. And it sucks. It sucks. Tom Duke saying Kem is going to be our success meter. If he plays well, we will do well. Also hoping Yuta can step up well and fill in well. Yeah, Kem's mom her tweets on the game the other night was like, stop hitting my baby. What the fuck? He just had his nose fucked up already this season. She's freaking out on Twitter because they're hitting him in the face. The mother of Kem Birch, Wendy Sparks. Yeah, stuff like that is going on. I'd love to see Kem step up and try and score a little bit more, try and do a little bit more. He didn't play a lot of minutes in the first game, and partly it was because they thought he might have had a concussion from the hit. Yeah. And well, he went through concussion testing and he doesn't have one, thank God. And he said that in his interview yesterday, that he was really happy to know that he wasn't going to have to deal with concussion protocols, which basically would mean he might not be able to play for a week if they thought that he got a concussion from that elbow from Joel Embiid. So this is really important and good that Kem is available tonight because we can't afford to have 4 guys out. Now, I'm hoping we only have 2 guys out and that Gary does suit up. That's what I'm saying with the interviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, Callie's saying she wants to see Birch be way more aggressive. Yeah, I would like to see that. Like, just look for your shot, Kem. If you're open, take it. Just take it. Don't be unselfish tonight. Go ahead and just try and get us some points and do everything you can to help us. All right, let's see. J.O. saying, what's up, Tom? Hope he comes back better in game 3, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Scotty or Thad or whoever who's out, they don't stay out for too long. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Take it day by day and stuff like that. But Nick Nurse in his interview yesterday was saying he's pretty sure that these guys will be doubtful today, even including Gary Trent. But I'm hoping they'll be 11th hour. I feel better, coach. Let me play tonight kind of thing with Gary Trent tonight. Because if it's a sickness, that's the kind of thing. If he feels better, like even if he feels shitty this morning and over the course of today, he said, like, I actually feel better this afternoon, he'll play. That's the way it works. And hopefully you won't be too weakened from what he's been dealing with too. All right, let's keep going. Tom saying, I hope so too, Callie. Fan Chunk saying, Embiid is having a dirty player reputation. He's starting to grow one. Yeah, like I never really thought of him as that way. Like I've always just thought that Embiid did things within his range of motion in his game, and that maybe sometimes there'll be an accidental elbow or something like that over the last years. But his behavior on Saturday, it totally changed that for me. It was very goonish, and I don't know if it was directed by the coaching staff of the Philadelphia 76ers and saying, we need you to do this more like this. And some people are also saying that this is part of Joel Embiid's maturity as a vet is that he went through the fire and he's like, well, this is just how it is. Welcome to playoffs. Bam, Scotty Barnes. Bam, Kem Birch, shit like that. And you know what? Like I said, I lose respect for players that play that way, especially when they're gigantic and they're like one of the biggest players in the NBA. Now, that's why I'm saying my respect for Embiid went woo, and my respect for Maxey went pshh, because Maxie did it right. Maxie did it the right way. He let his play speak for himself, and he showed that he's a badass. And, I can't hate on that. I can't hate on what Maxie did on Saturday night because he was a badass that night. And it sucks. Tom Duke saying, oh, man, injuries are always so depressing. Embiid and Joker aren't in my favorite player list anymore. Big punks. Yeah, neither one of them. Like, it's the same thing for Jokic. Like, honestly, some of the things he's done this year has been very goonish also. Callie's saying, let's do it for Scotty. I like that attitude. Sometimes that is what motivates our team is like, oh, shit, Fred fouled out. Well, we got to do it for him. That kind of stuff. But we just, it was too much to try and fight back and get back to after Scotty got hurt and Fred fouled out at the same time. It's not enough to do anything at that point, and their lead was pretty solid at that point for sure. J.O. saying injuries suck, especially when it's the playoffs. It's hard enough for teams to win in this league when you're full strength, let alone injuries. Yeah, it does suck. It is what it is. But, once again, we as a nation, not that I want to do this, we can say that, well, maybe we would have done better if all our guys hadn't got hurt. in the first game and stuff like that if we do lose this series. Now, I'm not conceding this series in the least, Jo. I want to tell you that right now. We're going to give you guys a good competitive series still, even if we're missing key guys, because that's just the way we are. We're not going to give up. We don't roll over and just quit. And that's the thing. We're going to show up tonight, hopefully, with a whole different kind of energy, a whole different motivation. We're going to come out there with really trying to beat you guys, like getting to the loose balls, 50-50 balls. And really, we need to change how things happen with the turnovers for y'all. Like, we have to really pressurize the Sixers so much and really try and get them to cough the ball up as much as possible and cause fast break for us, transition, all that kind of stuff. The more we're able to agitate them more like we're supposed to and do the things that we like to do, that'll be better. One of the things Nick Nurse said this weekend is that he thought our game plan for game one was really good. It's just we didn't do it. That he prepared the team in a really good game plan. It just wasn't executed in any kind of way. And even Chris echoed this later. He said, yeah, we had a good game plan, but we just didn't do it on the court, is what he said. So I think that Nick Nurse in some ways isn't going to do much different than what he intended to do in game one, other than hope that his team actually executes it this time. Because that's a big difference. It's like he could say, yeah, guys, I want you to do this and do this and do this, and then we'll be successful and we'll win. But if the team is not making that happen on the court, then you fail in that kind of way and stuff like that. So he's really going to like, and one of the things too is he's testing us. He's testing our Raptors to see what kind of character they have. Like, do you just take game one and the way it is, and how do you respond to it? Like, how do you deal with the physicality and mentally and all the different things you've got to deal with over the last 2 days in between games? And what are you going to show new in the new slate of 0-0 at the beginning of the game and going forward with that? That's what he wants to see. He wants to see whether these guys respond and whether they come out mentally, physically tougher. And they do things on the court to try and win. Maybe they get the game plan he originally had and they do it this time. And it looks really badass on the court and stuff like that. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Teflon's saying Siakam needs to take over. He knows that now. Attack Embiid and get him in foul trouble. Stop selling for jump shots. I agree with this, Teflon. I feel like in the first half of game one, Pascal Siakam was too much in the bushes like Homer. He was not showing up. He was a little bit too passive and a little bit too watching everything going on around him. And it may be that Philly had some good schemes for trying to keep him out of the game as long as they could, but he woke up in the second half, and we need him to be that all through the game. I think he said this weekend that he said, I need to be more aggressive throughout the whole entire game, is basically what Pascal's been saying since the game. And I agree with that. I really do. Callie's saying, I feel the same way about Maxey. Super talented. I don't think Embiid and Harden like that Maxey is the star. Ego's hurt. No, I think they're very happy with Maxey and the things that he does for them. He allows their team to have some real luxuries because this guy is so freaking fast. And, when you have Embiid, he can be a little slow. They're a good counterbalance to each other, Embiid and Maxey, because they provide completely different things between the two of them and stuff like that. But no, when you're on a team and you have a player like Maxey, you don't care if their star shines a bit, because you're kind of like, yeah, he's helping us win and that kind of stuff. So I don't think the ego thing is a problem with them. There may be an ego problem eventually with James Harden and Joel Embiid when they don't line up with how they want to do things. Like Joel Embiid's probably going to be more like Kevin Durant and say, we need to work hard. We need to do this. We need to do that. And at some point, the road with James Harden is going to go fork on that kind of attitude about how hard you work and what you do and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think that's where the ego problems will start with Philly, is between Harden and Embiid. And Maxey's just too young, and he's just like, hey. Tom Duke saying, Tobias admitted being more physical than Raps was the plan. Punking us physically was the plan. It worked. Good lesson. It will benefit us going forward. Yeah, they need to learn the hard way. I mean, listen, we don't know what kind of motivation Scotty Barnes is getting from what just happened. Like, he saw such great success in game one while he was playing. He was so close to getting that triple-double that I've already talked about. And he saw it all go away, and then he had to leave the court. And he's probably really sad and depressed, and maybe he's a little angry. Like, I don't know. Like, this will be really interesting to see in the future if Scotty Barnes gets up a little bit more tougher and tries a little harder, it gets like that Jordan kind of motivation. Michael Jordan had all kinds of ways that he got motivation for what he wanted to do on the court. And it could be that Scotty Barnes may have a grudge against Joel Embiid for the rest of his career. And that in particular games when he plays against Joel Embiid, he might play at a different kind of like chip on his shoulder when he's against him on the court. That's something I'm going to be looking for the next few years, is to see if Scotty Barnes is like, you know what, you fucking stepped on my ankle in game 1 of the first round in 2022, and I'm never going to forget that. In that kind of way. And that, that'll be really interesting. I really love that Nab Bhatia and a lot of people online are showing so much support. There's so many prayer circles for Scotty Barnes. I've been seeing on Twitter and everybody's just praying for Scotty Barnes on Easter Sunday for him to heal as quickly as possible. And I love seeing all that. And then seeing Scotty reciprocate and say, I really appreciate all you guys caring about me and praying for me and hoping that I'll get back quicker. That's got to be scary to a young player like him. But hopefully, like, once again, he can trust in the fact that the Raptors have one of the best medical and sports science staffs in all of sports. And also, so far, all of the tests and things have preliminarily have been very positive in good ways. I say they've been negative. I won't say they're positive like with the results, but they've been negative results, which is very positive for the outcomes for possibly what's going to happen with his ankle and how quickly he could possibly be back. Like, there's no structural damage. They had not said anything about anything being broken or anything being ripped or torn. It's just he sprained. And that's a good thing in this situation. We don't want any structural damage because that's where it's real dangerous. And, if it's just a sprain, then he can rest and it'll heal. And then he could be back. If we are still in the playoffs when he's ready, he could be back. So that's the way it's looking at right now. And yeah, Tobias Harris said this after the game, is like, that was part of their plan, was to be more physical than us. They wanted to do everything that we do well better than us. And that's doing the rebounds, being more physical, and not turning the ball over. Like, they did a really good job on all three of them. Now, let's see if they can be perfect again. And I don't think so. I think that they had almost a very perfect game on Saturday night. And hopefully it's all downhill for them from here. And it's going to be harder and harder for them to keep that up. I know they have a lot of confidence, and there's a lot of things that are on their side, but you can poke a hole in that balloon real easy and get all the air to sink out with a Raptor victory tonight. Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you can. Because that's going to be a disaster for them if we get either one of these games. It'll be a disaster for them because they'll have lost on their home court, and we'll have home court advantage all of a sudden, even with guys hurt and stuff like that. Fan Chung is saying, let's hope Nurse lets Yuta play. He can be a disruptor on defense. I think Yuta in particular against the Sixers is a good matchup. Like, he is, in some teams he may be a liability, but I think he can be okay running around on the court with the Sixers. And we'll see. Nick's saying with the injuries and who may not be playing tonight, it may be just more Precious, Chris, the guys that are in the regular rotation are just going to get more minutes, and there may not be as much from the guys at the end of the bench. But then again, he could switch it up. He also hinted that he will possibly try and use Malachi and Armani to slow down Tyrese Maxey tonight. And I think that's just smart. That just makes sense. Like, in basketball logic and theory, bring those little guys out who are hungry and want to prove something, and let them try and shut him down. Because that is really on my list of main things that Raptors need to improve from the first game, is dealing with Maxey is number one. They need to do a way better job dealing with him and containing him to a degree. They have to figure out a way to contain him and not let him move around and get all over the court like he did. It's really bad. Lolita's saying, let's get Scotty a ring. Yeah, he, like I said, Lolita, I think he could be back quicker than we think. Like, there may be some lady luck on his side, things looking out for him, angels looking out for him somewhere, and hopefully he can get back and be in the series still before it's over. So we'll see. J.O. saying game 1 is just that one game. I know the series isn't over yet. Raps are well-coached ball. Yeah, respect, Sixers fan, respect. And seriously, y'all were really well-coached for that game 1. I honestly, that I was bagging on Doc Rivers last week going into it, and he out-coached Nick Nurse on the first game of the series. I have to say that because he really did. He had a really good game plan, and they executed it really well. Like, honestly, I have a lot of respect for what the Sixers did on Saturday night. in that game, except for the Joel Embiid stuff. That shit is not respectful in any kind of way. And but otherwise, I can say, yeah, wow, the coach did a good job prepping them. They did a good job executing. Tyrese Maxey is a stud. And, stuff like that. I can even give a little bit of flowers to James Harden for that game because I thought he did some very interesting, good things for y'all, too. Graham's here. Good to see Graham again. And happy birthday again, Graham. Morning, freaks. Lexi, can we use our two-way players as injury replacements? No, unfortunately. It's not how it works. I wish that we could just call up Justin and David Johnson and get them in there. Justin specifically, but it's not. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think we can actually bring them in at this point. It's the way that their contracts are structured as two-way players. They're not actually postseason players if you're a two-way player. So we're going to have to go with what we got. And this may mean that we give more time to Yuta, as we said. And also, Isaac Bonga may get a really interesting look in the game tonight. Like, honestly, Isaac's ready to play on the main roster, and he can do a lot of things. I have a lot of confidence in him. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he does all the regular things that our 6'9" guys do. He's just like a stash 6'9" guy at the end of the bench, and he could be very helpful. Like, he could honestly be like a cult hero in this series. If he gets some minutes and he comes out and he does some crazy ass great shit for us, like hit some threes or get some block shots and just does really good winning plays inside and out, Isaac Bonga may become like a cult hero in Raptors lore in this series. I'm going to predict it right now. If they give Bonga some time and he has some time out there, and he will make winning plays. Because in the G League, he did it all year. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's really good with the ball, and he can do all of it, like all the other guys can. He can do it all. He can block shots, rebounds. He can dribble the ball. He can shoot threes. He has some inside game too. So yeah, it's very interesting. Scotty, Tom saying hashtag do it for Scotty Roy. I love it. I love it. Do it for the Gipper. Do it for Scotty. Summer Lowe's here. Good morning, Summer Lowe. Very knowledgeable Raptor fan. Is it the same referees the whole series? No, Summer. And you know what? This is a great segue for the ref check. Here are our ref crew for tonight, y'all. Tonight we have 28-year vet James Capers Jr. His dad was a referee a long, long time ago. And he is not the nicest ref to the Raptors. I'm not going to lie right now. James Capers has been in the league a long time, so he's been around since we were very shitty in the 90s. Our win percentage under him is just below our regular win percentage as a franchise in the history. We have a 0.48 win percentage as a franchise in the history of the NBA, and he has a 0.472 win percentage when he refs our game. So James Capers is our crew chief. Our second ref is going to be Mark Lindsay. He's from Pennsylvania, which is always sketchy to me, but he seems like a good guy. Our win percentage with him reffing is the highest of the three refs tonight, is 0.6569. So we win about 57% of our games when he's refereeing. And so Mark Lindsay seems like an all right guy. Like, he's a very, like, his demeanor on the court is very friendly and cordial in a lot of ways. And then we got JB DeRosa is our third ref tonight. And he's from Kentucky, and he likes Kenny Chesney. And he's not bad. He's also the son of a ref. Like, his father refereed also. So we have two sons of former referees. JB DeRosa's win percentage is 0.556. So that's above the average for our win percentage as a franchise also. So not a bad ref crew. I say that, and I'm probably eat my words because I said the same damn thing about the crew on Saturday, and they were absolute shit. But, James Capers could be, I don't know. We'll have to see. I should say that I don't know. They could be really shitty. But then also, I've also speculated in the stream yesterday that this could be a makeup game for how bad they treated us on Saturday. They may really favor the Raptors tonight to try and give us a winning chance with guys hurt. And also, they, like I said, on the down low, the NBA wants all the series to go long. So if they can be competitive games and draw it out the 7-game series as much as possible, that's more money. And that's really part of why the referees will flip to favoring one team one game, and then they'll flip, and all of a sudden they'll be like, whoa, they're helping the Raptors out tonight and stuff like that. So that could very possibly happen tonight, that the referee crew is going to do us a solid in some ways. And Philly fan may be real upset with some of the calls tonight. So it could be very interesting to see. But yeah, they're not the same refs, which is good. Kane Fitzgerald, man, you really disappointed me. Bill Kennedy, come on. You're supposed to be a badass Luther Vandross karaoke singer. You guys really dropped the ball. But honestly, to tell you the truth, in doing my ref research, I really believe that the refs did something under the mandate of the NBA head office and what they wanted to do as far as directing water and making sure that a certain team won that game to a degree. And that is something that they do get directives on and stuff like that. The 2 fouls on Fred, I did see the clip finally. Thank you, Tom, for posting it. I watched it. The first foul was absolute bullshit because Trae Young fell and they wanted, or not Trae Young, Maxey fell. And they wanted to help him out with not giving him a turnover right away. So they gave Fred a foul instead. And that was absolute bullshit. That first foul that was like 4 seconds into the game, that was an absolute bullshit call. And then the second one was actually a foul. Fred did actually foul Joel Embiid on that rebound from what I saw. But still, it's not an egregious foul or a foul that usually gets called, especially with a big, huge guy and the littlest guy on our team. That and that early in the game, it was really fishy. So those 2 fouls on Fred were very, very fishy. The first one was not a foul, and then the second one was a foul. But why the fuck would you call it right then and at that point? Is what I'm saying. So yeah, all right. Raymond Jacobson, what should the game plan be against Maxey? The most important thing to do with Maxey is slow him down. Is that when you see him coming with any kind of full set of steam, any kind of which way, whether he's bringing the ball up in transition, whether he's trying to burst in the half-court offense, you have to stop him. You have to just get in between him and stop the ball. This is like classic point guard defense, is you stop the ball in transition because the ball will keep going towards the basket if you don't come and meet that offensive player who's dribbling the ball up the court. So they really need to stop him and really get in between him and just stop his momentum, not let him come so quick and attack. Is basically, you got to cut him off before he attacks. And that's the best game plan for this. Now, Fred's knee is not completely good, or he said it himself in the interview that he didn't do a good job guarding Maxey. And he felt bad, but he feels like he could do a way better job still. So Fred will still do this kind of stuff. I'm sure they'll give a bigger look on him at times with OG and Anunoby and the bigger guys that can kind of keep up with him. But if it's a real problem, I say bring in Armani Brooks, bring in Malachi Flynn, each give him a turn to actually try and stop him as a little guy. And that's why I think that those guys could be very helpful in this game tonight, because we didn't even use them the other night to try and stop Maxey. And that could have been something that could have helped us sooner. Bring Malachi in. He's hungry to play and show something, improve something. Let him have the chance to have the assignment of slowing Maxey down and see if he gets any results. That kind of thing. J.O. saying Sixers got lucky with Maxey at pick number 21. The Markelle Fultz debacle really hurts, so it's nice seeing this work out. Yeah, wow. He was a 21st pick. That is amazing gold. That's the kind of gold that we mine. That's like Pascal Siakam at 27 or something like that. That's fantastic. And you know what? Listen, the dysfunction of the Sixers organization over the decades and decades of just not necessarily picking the right people or making bad trades or doing stuff this is kind of nice to see the Sixers have a young player that is really, honestly, he may be one of the best point guards in the league over the next 10 years. And the more and more he develops, he's definitely very much an offensive threat. And he seems like such a good character guy too. As far as just the way I like a lot about Maxey. Let's just put it that way. J.O. saying, do you get to watch that C's Nets game? Man, what a roller coaster of emotions. I kept up with it on the box score a little bit yesterday, and I saw what was happening. I was very fishy that Boston wins it at the buzzer at 1 second, but I see Tatum got a really nice layup right at the end. It was back and forth. This is exactly what we want, Sixers and Raptor fans want from our division opponents that we hate, to beat the shit out of each other and have this kind of game. And it's kind of cool that Kyrie and Kevin lost the first game, and that Kyrie heard it from the Boston fans, and he really said some stupid shit after the game last night, which is funny to me because he's just pouring gas on the fire, obviously, because these Boston fans aren't going to let up on him, and they shouldn't, honestly, because of his history with their team. But yeah, very interesting stuff. I hope this series goes 7 games and they just absolutely like tire each other out. And listen, only one of them gets through. Thank God. That's one thing we can say is like on the other side of the bracket, Philly fan, this goes for you too, is that Milwaukee, Boston, and Brooklyn are all in the same bracket. So only one of them is going to have to face us. And in some ways, that's awesome. Whoever gets to, that's on our side, So that's actually a good thing. Yeah. But yeah, interesting, really crazy finish to that game the other last night. Cindy Wong saying Maxie was usually open. Yeah, that was part of the problem. He's so quick that he can get to a spot and get wide open in those kind of ways. And it's not even that they were using him off screens too much or anything. The thing that they kept describing it as after the game, Doc Rivers talked about it, and so did Nick Nurse, is that because of the attention Harden and Embiid have to get, there's a lot of doubling off of Maxey. And we may not be able to do that. We may not be able to afford coming off of Maxey like that because of what we saw and how much he burned us in game 1. So it may be that we need to start treating all 3 of them very equally as far as like attention on defense. Because yeah, he was wide open at times, but you know what? I attribute his being wide open, Cindy, to being more that he has a really quick first step. And it's kind of like Gary. He can manufacture space for himself to get open all of a sudden. You really got to be on top of him. It's tough. And that's kind of why I want to see Malachi get a chance to do that. Because if he just focuses on that and he doesn't have to focus on, if he's open, he needs to take the shot and make it. But if he's really concentrating on shutting down him in particular, that will be very, very fruitful and productive for the Raptors in different ways. Yeah. Kay Robinson's here. Good to see another new name. Kay, I'm here every morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time doing a Raptors live stream. Kay saying, I think Embiid stepping on it hurt, but you can see he twisted the ankle prior to the step. That's what sprained it. Yeah, he was already kind of coming down on it like sideways, and it just didn't help that his weight was falling, and then Joel's stepping on it and holding it down with his weight so that it kind of twists it. And I didn't like watching too much of the replay because it was painful to watch for me. So I'm like, I don't want to watch this too much, but I really did want to see how it went down as far as whether Joel did anything intentional in that whole situation and stuff like that. Cindy Wong says someone needs to guard him. Yeah, somebody needs to guard Tyrese Maxey for sure. And that's what I'm saying. I think Fred is going to come out and give a better effort, and really kind of focus on this a bit better himself. I mean, I know he was a bit handcuffed because of the 2 early fouls in different ways that he can't be as his hand in the cookie jar when he's already got 2 fouls in the first minute of the game, which is completely unreasonable. And once again, me saying that there's ref manipulation and trying to cause problems for us right from the beginning by putting in a very important player of ours in foul trouble and stuff like that. So Case saying if Embiid stepping on it mattered, his ankle would be broke. He sprained it when his ankle twisted. Okay, K. Robinson's defending Joel Embiid. I don't know what Joel Embiid did, if he meant to do it or not. Listen, it didn't help things, obviously. And I don't think it would have sprained if Joel Embiid was not involved in that situation. I think that he might have been fine and stuff like that. I mean, we can get woulda, coulda, shoulda. We can get mired into this and this and this, but we really don't fucking ultimately know. We're just fans. We just watch it. But the fact is, he did step on his foot and he did get injured. And that's a factor in it. You can try and say that he would have hurt himself without Joel Embiid being involved, but I think that's bullshit, honestly. Nick 21 saying, I can't see how the Raptors can compete with Barnes not playing. It's tough, Nick. I know, but listen, this is what we do in this channel is we shine a light and we talk about the positive things that can happen still. It is not good, but listen, one of the things I will say is Scotty Barnes is kind of an extra gravy kind of guy. It's kind of like our whole position in the playoffs right now. It's like, this is all gravy, baby, because we're not even supposed to be here. And in some ways, Scotty was never totally dependent on for absolutely essential things. He's kind of a glue guy who would just make up good winning plays on the outside, while our other guys were more go-to guys. So in some ways, we can get around not having Scotty in the game better than Pascal or Fred or OG even. I'd much rather, if we're going to have somebody hurt, I hate to say, I don't want anybody hurt, but if OG was hurt, that would be worse for us than Scotty being hurt. And that's really experience. That's really his defense. There's all kinds of different things that are in there. And we have next man up mentality. We've had this all year. There's not been many games where we've had everybody healthy. And we'd be missing like Cam and Gary for a game, or we're missing Fred and OG for a game. And we made up for their absences with other guys. And that's what we should think as Raptor fans, that hopefully we'll figure it out and we'll fill in that time in the void with next man up mentality. That's what I'm saying. But, I can understand Raptor fans that are pessimistic about our chances at this point. And you're coming from a grounded, realistic view. But also, I have a grounded, realistic view of the history of the Raptors this season and how they played without guys all year and still excelled and done badass shit without guys that would have really helped also. So we got to look at it both ways. Kay Robinson saying, when the Raptors players are physical, it is all good. But if the other team is physical, is bad. No, I'm not saying that. I think that both teams can be physical, but there were specifically very dirty plays by Joel Embiid the other night. Like the overall physicality of the game with his pushing and shoving, that's fine. But when people are getting hurt by the biggest player on the court, that's fucking wrong. And especially when he's acting like a prima donna and expecting the refs to give him all the calls in the world also. It's like you're getting calls, Joel, and you're hurting players and you're still complaining about not getting an and one or shit like that. That just pisses me off, honestly. But yeah, we play dirty and we played foul people too, but we didn't do enough of that in game one, obviously. And we will do that tonight. So expect it, Kay Robinson. And from your side of view, you may think, oh, well, that's fucking bullshit. You guys were, well, you know what? We root for the Raptors. You root for whoever you fucking root for. I don't know who you root for. And, that's just how it is. We're going to be slanted. We are very biased towards the Raptors. And that's just what this channel is. So, that's what it is. I'm sorry. Callie saying, I would love to see Bonga play. Love his game. Yeah, I think that Bonga could be very useful in this matchup in some ways that we may not even realize. He's somebody who is a real enigma and mystery in some ways, and somebody who has a lot of skills and a lot of things that he can possibly do on the court. Very versatile player, Isaac Bonga. Anthony Adrotis. Good to see another new name. Anthony, I'm here every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, talking Raptors. I hope you'll subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. Join us every day. What's up, guys? What's up, Anthony? Good to see you. J.O. saying, let's go James Capers. Just kidding. Well, let's go James Capers. I hope you have a good game tonight, James Capers. Everything's nice and good. Let me see what James Capers likes, because I have his bio here. His favorite musician is Jill Scott, and he likes lobster roll on Martha's Vineyard. Ooh, okay. And he plays some bid whist, y'all. So James Capers, hey, I hope you're having a good day. And I hope you give a little favor to the Raptors tonight. But yeah, I know J.O. wants it the other way. Callie saying, as long as the refs call it fair, we have a chance. Yeah, I think so too. This is the thing. We've always overperformed or overachieved at different times during the season in different ways. That's why I would say to what Nick was saying, even with Scotty and different people out, don't count the Raptors out, because there really is that kind of next man up mentality. Like you say, Scotty Barnes is going to be there for his production. All of a sudden we see Precious start doing way more just because he feels like that pressure or that responsibility because other guys aren't there. We're going to miss Thad too. Thad is a really important veteran presence in different ways and stuff like that when he comes out on the court. So hopefully maybe somebody like Chris Boucher takes it upon himself. He says, well, I need to do more because Thaddeus is out, stuff like that. It really is next man up. We've talked about it so much, and it's not just lip service with the Raptors. This is a real thing that these guys really believe in. And that's why all these guys on the bench have to be ready, is that you have to be ready when somebody gets hurt and they can't play and minutes need to be filled. You need to be out there and be ready to do productive stuff like that. I like that. Kay Robinson saying, so the Raptors foul players, the refs shouldn't call it. Is that what we're saying? No, I'm not saying that. They call it anyway. They're going to call it. We're going to get fouls. I'm not believing that we're not going to get fouls. It's just that we get touch fouls. And meanwhile, you guys are hitting us in the face and nobody's getting called. There's no calls and stuff like that. That's what I'm fucking talking about. If you can't see the difference in the way that they called it in game one, well, you're biased in your own eyes. That's just how you're going to look at it. Joel Embiid was mugging our team and he got 5 fouls. He should have probably fucking fouled out. He should have fucking probably been thrown out after the second elbow to Scotty Barnes' face. That flagrant. The first flagrant was when he hit Kem Birch, and he should have been thrown out of the game then. But the NBA won't throw out a money man, the leading scorer of the league, the guy who's on all their fucking ads and shit like that. They won't do that. It's a LeBron kind of thing, a Luka Doncic kind of thing. So that's what I'm saying right there. If he was a normal player like a Chris Boucher or somebody like that, if Chris Boucher hit fucking 2 Sixers in the face with elbows, he would have been thrown out of the game, is what I'm saying right now. And if Joel Embiid had been thrown out of the game when he's supposed to be, when he hit elbowed Scotty Barnes in the face, he wouldn't have stepped on his ankle and maybe Scotty Barnes wouldn't have been hurt, is what I'm saying right there. No, they're going to call fouls on the Raptors. We expect it. We expect it. Foul on Jonas. You ever heard of that? Foul on Jonas. That's a thing we've been saying in Raptors Nation for a long, long time. And foul on Jonas is a hilarious thing. I'm going to tell you right now. But no, we want it fair down the line. Daquan Adams laughing my ass off. You capping hard. Everybody said y'all was going to win game 1 in the series. Now y'all crying. We're not crying. We're going to come to your arena tonight. And we're going to try and steal one still in Philadelphia. That's what we're going to do. We're not crying. We do have a realistic view of what the referees did and stuff like that, but we're not crying. Come on, man. We don't really give a shit. Like, honestly, we're going to try our best. We want to win 1 in Philadelphia. That's always been the ultimate goal, is to just steal 1 in Philadelphia before we come back to Toronto. And that's what we're going to try and do tonight. Kareem Thomas is here. Great Raptor Freak here. A bruised Raptor is stronger than a Philadelphia cheesesteak. Well, I hope so. Cheesesteak's not that strong. But you're saying that they're cheesy? I like that. That's very good. K. Robinson saying the Sixers played way better in game 1, but the Raptors lost to the refs. Laugh out loud. No, I'm not saying that. I say yes, the Sixers did play best. The best team won. And you guys did win because of the way you played. Doc Rivers prepared y'all really, really well, and you did a good job executing because you didn't cause any turnovers for yourself, and you out-rebounded us. I can give you guys credit for that, but the fucking refereeing was fucked up too. There's 2 separate things, and they can both happen at the same time. And I'm not saying we would have beat y'all if the refs had been more fair. I'm saying that the refereeing was not fair, but y'all beat us anyway. So I'm not blaming the refs. I'm just saying that was a factor in things, but also you guys beat us straight up outright. Yeah, sure. I'll say that. If that's what you want me to say, K. Robinson, yeah, you were the better team and you beat us. Okay. But the referees were a factor also. I'm sorry. They were. And it's not that they determined the game, but they did do some fucked up shit, like give Fred VanVleet 2 fouls right in the first minute of the game. And then they let Joel Embiid just be a fucking thug, basically, the whole fucking game. They let him do a whole bunch of shit that they wouldn't let the average NBA player do, is what I'm saying. And you can disagree with me, that's fine. But we're different fan nations. We have our own perspective of shit, and that's fine. You're on a Raptors channel right now, so you're going to hear it from the Raptors side. If you want to be here, that's how it is. So I don't put up with too much of this. I'll put up with it for a little while. J.O.'s cool because he's been here all week and we've been interacting, and he's a very respectable Sixer fan, and we're talking and there's a good dialogue. But if it's just bullshit and you want to come in here and put me down and fucking say shit like that, I'll just kick you out like I just did whatever this guy's name and that I already kicked out. All right, let's see. Okay, K. Robinson saying when you lose by that many points, it most definitely wasn't the refs. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm not going to argue anymore. If you continue with this stuff, I'm just going to kick you out. All right, K. Robinson, got to go both ways. Hey, Teflon saying at K. Robinson, don't be silly. When everyone on our team has 4 fouls, it matters. Listen, I don't understand how James Harden and Tyrese Maxey didn't have a single foul on either one of them from that game. I'm sorry. There's different stuff like that. The Sixers went to the line 34 times. We went to the line 23 times. I'm paying attention. I can back up shit with facts and talk about it in this kind of way. So Tom Duke's saying some soft calls only for the Sixers. That's what I'm saying. Like Chris Boucher, half of his 6 fouls that he fouled out on in 15 minutes were bullshit error and didn't do nothing. He was just standing there kind of bullshit fouls. And you guys were not getting any of those kind of calls. On the other end, we have to fucking have Pascal Siakam get basically gang beat up by 6 guys going into the lane to get an and one. He barely ever gets and ones and shit like that. And this is an all NBA talent. This is what we're talking about. There's a difference in the way it goes. And this is what I'm hoping that they make up for it tonight. And they're really biased towards the Raptors tonight. And maybe Sixers fan is pissed off and saying some of the shit that I've been saying this weekend. That, maybe the refs will help us tonight. And you'll be calling all this, if we beat y'all's ass tonight and the referees help us, I'm sure you're going to make that excuse. Seriously. Because that's what I see what's going to happen. Hopefully tonight is the referees may balance this series out all of a sudden for us. All right, let's see. DJ Rush is saying K. Robinson is a Philly fan. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? Just because DJ Rush said this, 416, where you're out of here. Boom, you're out. Bye-bye. Good ups, DJ Rush. All right, Tom Duke is saying you Sixers won that game. You played well, as you ever could, and injured our players. So be happy with that. That's what I'm saying. They played really good. I'm not dissing the Sixers. I am saying that the refs were a factor, and there was a little bit of difference in the way they called the game. That's all. But yeah, you won the way you're supposed to win, and that's good. Maxey was a great player. J.O. saying if Sixers can continue to win the rebounding edge, that would be huge because that's been one of our biggest flaws. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm so impressed with what Doc did for y'all, Jay, is that like you guys have been real suspect on the boards. Like I said in the preview on Thursday last week, you were here. I said Joel Embiid is a really good defender, but when you have just one guy, that one big, huge guy, and then our team has all these guys that are the next tallest guys on the court, that can usually mean that we can beat you on the rebounding, but they did such a great job. And part of it was like shit, like seeing Danny Green get in there and get rebounds and shit. Like, what the fuck is Danny Green rebounding? I'm like, holy crap. Doc really did a good job getting them ready for that. And that is a big thing, Jay. Like, if you guys continue to win the rebounding battle, you probably will win this series and win games this way. That is really where the frontline battle is going to be, is who's going to win the boards. And it'll be interesting to see how we do tonight, because I know our guys did not put in the effort that they normally do on Saturday night, and that they're going to be a lot more motivated to change that stat in particular tonight. That may be really the thing for us to all to watch as fans, is let's see how the rebounding goes between the Raptors and the Sixers tonight. Oh, yeah. Tom Duke is saying karma, and he's also saying, Daquan, no one said we were winning game one. In fact, we know we often lose game one, so think before you speak. Yeah, I like that. And talking sports with coconuts, how can y'all double three players? Well, switching. It's a lot of switching. I know it sounds crazy. How do you double three players? It's really kind of hedging between two. Like if there's James and Joel are on the other end and Maxie's got it at the top, you try and come and it's not that we're going to double Maxie. It's just that we can't leave him to go double the other guys is what I'm saying, basically. Like we can't leave him like we were to go and help on James and Joel. Is basically what I'm saying. J.O. saying Sixers big duo, Joel and Harden shot 11 for 32 combined. So that's one thing to hang your hat on. Who's flying under the radar is Tobias, who put up 26, 6, and 6. Yeah, he absolutely killed us. He was the other one. It's like Maxie killed us for sure. And Harris having such a productive, good game because I know he's been frustrating to you guys, the Sixers fans, that sometimes he's inconsistent with his production. And like he had a good, very good productive game for you guys in the first game. And that's something the Raptors can't allow again. He's actually somebody we can guard and tied up really, really well. But he was getting really nice open shots off of our doubling in different ways and stuff like that for sure. But yeah, that was one of the areas, bright spots for me personally, was seeing how well we did on Joel himself personally. Now, James did better than I wanted him to. Like him hitting threes and actually getting 20 points is not something we wanted. We wanted to keep him in the teens. And if he gets a bunch of assists, that is what it is. We can live with that. But Joel Embiid, we did good on defensively for the most part. And that may be part of the reason why he was lashing out and hitting everybody is because we were actually doing a good job of trying to hold him down. Stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Cindy Wong is saying, good points, Alex. Fair analysis. Thanks, Cindy. I hope you'll join me. Hit that red subscribe button. Tom Duke saying that, gee, are you just watching and giggling in anticipation of Lexi going off on these chirpy Sixers fans? Tom's asking for the wrench to come out. Oh, where's the wrench? Talking Sports is still asking, how do you double three players? Yeah, I answered that already. Escobar Cruz, talk your shit. Raps in 6. Baby, at Escobar Cruz. Yes, coming in here like a G. Yes, he still believes. And that's the thing. I love Raptors fans that still believe. We get down and we get in the mud and we get kicked around a little bit, but we're coming right back. It's that kind of thing. That's how we do it. All right, let's see. Talking Sports with Coconuts is saying the Sixers make it to the line more than any other team. I know this is a big thing that Nick Nurse is trying to get our guys as defenders to not put them on the line as best as we can. But if these refs are going to call us breathing on them or just barely touching them, and then they're going to the line, we can't do anything about that. And it's one of the things Nick Nurse was trying to say is like, if they're not going to call an offensive charge on Joel Embiid coming to the basket and we get position and we're standing there, like Chris Boucher hops in front and he's outside the restricted area, and Joel Embiid's coming down, barreling towards the basket, and he just runs him over and they don't call it, then there's no way we can win this series, because that's just, they can just beat us over the head with Joel Embiid and just treat him like a golden boy and not give us any calls. Stuff like that. And it's funny because there's a Chicago reporter that's putting it on blast what Nick Nurse said. Nick Nurse didn't say anything that's going to get him fined, but there's this motherfucking journalist on Yahoo Sports that's putting it all over Yahoo Sports this morning, trying to fucking get Nick Nurse a fine for what he said about the officials. You go look at what he said, a Chicago journalist, and you'll see that he's not going to be, if they fine him for what he fucking said, then that's really going deep into trying to find how he did it, because he didn't say anything criticizing the refs the way that he said it. It really is smart how he said it. He's really genius, actually. Tom's G saying, Tom, no, I just got on here. Have to do a better job. See, he wasn't even here, Tom. You can't. He'll show up. We know G will be here, but it's like, listen, he's this last line of defense, or maybe he's the first line of defense. I don't know. But it's like Raymond Jacob and him say, they like to see us go a little like Sixer fan wants to come in here and we can talk and stuff. Like I said, I have the advantage. I'm talking, you're typing. I can talk faster than you can type. Oh yeah, I can. I could probably type faster than you can type also, because I took a typing class in middle school and I really know how to type fast. I'm like one of those guys who can look up and type. Like I could be a stenographer for a court report or something like that. I could be one of these people in the corner of the court typing everything that everybody's saying. That's the kind of typing skills I got. Oh yeah. So all right, let's see. Jay saying, I love basketball. I'm sub to a few other content creators that follow other teams. You're a good dude. If I lived in Canada, man, I'd buy you a beer for sure. I appreciate that, J.O. I am an alcoholic, though. I do not drink. I've got 12 years. It'll be 12 years this year that I haven't had a drink since 2010. But I will definitely smoke a spliff with you, J.O. That's my bag, baby. It's a green bag. Oh, yeah. But I appreciate that. Like, honestly, like, seriously, it's good that you're so out of your box and you're involved in looking at other teams and other content creators for other teams and stuff like that. Kudos to you. I can't do that. Like, it's hard for me. If I was going to a Sixers stream, it would be really hard for me to sit and listen to the perspective of y'all's team, like what I do here for Raptors. It'd be really hard for me to do. I'm really tunnel vision. Like, I don't watch any other playoff games. I just watch the score on the box score, and I don't actually watch the game. Like, I may watch the highlights later, but I never watch any other NBA games other than the Raptors games and stuff like that. So, but I appreciate the love, J.O. And yeah, man, if you come to Toronto, man, I'll take you to some spots and show you some places in town. Like, I know we're playing y'all on Wednesday and Saturday at least, so here in Toronto. So I don't know if you're traveling and coming for the game. DJ saying, this game took me back to the Pistons Isaiah Thomas bully ball days. Wow, DJ bringing it back. It makes me realize what the big man can add to a team. Raptors won't have that. Those guys are nice. Listen, we have big guys and we can do some stuff. This is the thing. It's going to be all about the chess match, the adjustments. Nick Nurse is a genius. He's crazy. He has ways to try and motivate his guys. He has ways of trying to come up with solutions to some of the issues we saw. And it sounds like he's still confident in the game plan that they had. Like, he just feels like the guys completely failed at executing it, whether it wasn't having enough energy or putting it out there, or just that Philly came out, smacked us in the face, literally, and we just didn't recover or get our thing going that we wanted to accomplish on the court. But he feels like that game plan is still really good and that he's going to try it again and just hope that the players execute it much better this time. And that'll be very interesting. But that's very interesting. Like, you're bringing up Bad Boys Pistons days with Isaiah Thomas and stuff like that. Man, that was my team back in the day. I used to love Rick Mahorn and James Edwards, John Sally, Dennis Rodman, Vinnie Johnson, Mark Aguirre, those teams. Man, those 2 championship years, I was a Pistons fan. This was before the Raptors existed. I was a Detroit Pistons fan at that time. So very interesting. We'll have to see how it matches up. I know we're down a few guys, and it's going to be tougher now in some ways because we're missing missing people like Scotty Barnes. But we'll see. We'll see how it all happens. We'll just have to see what happens. There's no never count out us, because honestly, we're that kind of team that you don't want to count out. Escobar saying Raptors got to play on their pace, not Phillies, and stop the fast break and transition. I like that. That's actually real true. We were playing their style and playing what they wanted to do and stuff like that, and that really hurt us for sure. Yeah, and Tom Duke's laughing at G, and G saying, I'm a Fred fan, but I noticed a big difference when he is on against the Sixers. I like the offense run through Pascal with a big lineup. Fred catch and shoot may be a good adjustment. Yeah, you were saying this the other day too, G. I like these ideas too. Like, I feel like Fred may be better off the ball, like you're saying, because he doesn't have to labor as much. You can carry having the ball handling duties and bringing stuff up the court. Now, with Scotty out, Nick Nurse is saying that he's going to have to play another ball handler. So that probably means that Malachi or Armani is going to get different tries in this. And it could even be Delano Banton. Like, he could bring in Delano Banton and try and let him run things for a little bit because Scotty's out and stuff like that. But I like what you're saying. I think that you're right. I think that the ball going through our bigger, good ball handlers is better with our littler guys being ready to catch and shoot. I really like that idea, actually. And that's something we've done pretty good throughout the season at different times. So maybe we see Fred kind of camping to the side and waiting for that kick out a little bit more tonight. Criscom's here, the great Criscom. Good game day. Let's go. He's saying Raps by 4. He thinks the Raptors are going to win by 4 points tonight. Criscom, your ESPN, I hope is correct today. All right. Raymond Jacob is here, and he is saying to the guys, Alex is like a powerful lawyer roasting Raptor haters in primetime TV. Right? Listen, man, a lawyer. Holy crap. If I became a lawyer, this would have been very interesting, but I don't have time for that kind of bullshit. But I will go and argue for the little guy in every kind of arena anywhere. That is something I'll do. Maybe I would do pro bono work. I don't know. But that's a good compliment, Raymond Jacob, that you think that I have lawyer arguing skills. I love it. I love it. G saying Nurse called out the refs and Doc said no comment, basically, because he does it too and knows it's part of coaching. This may suggest a different style today. Yeah. This whole thing about the refs and stuff like that. Like I said, this reporter from Chicago is trying to get Nick Nurse a fine, and I think it's full of shit. I hope that I don't see any kind of fine for Nick Nurse all of a sudden, just because this guy's trying to shine a light on some of the stuff he said this weekend. Yeah, Doc's always going to say no comment when it comes to the officials, and these guys should. That if they're smart. It's what Nick Nurse said is really kind of smart, because he's setting it up for the possibility that the refs will try and even things out from the first game. Seriously, and they will do that sometimes, like a makeup call. Like I said in the last stream, they make a bad call at one end of the floor and they say, yeah, we did make a bad call, but they'll do a bad call at the other end just to make up for it. This is something the NBA refs have been doing for decades, and they do it as a game as a whole sometimes too. They're like, oh, we really shit the bed on being fair to the Raptors in game 1. Well, let's really show them favor in game 2. Let's see if that happens tonight. That could possibly happen, especially if we come out with good effort and we show that we're the team trying to work really hard in all kinds of ways. They will reward that. That is what the referees like to do. They like to reward them. Raymond Jacobs saying, I wouldn't want to get into a debate with Lex. He'll eat you up. Listen, I can be very argumentative and very passionate about what I believe and what I'm trying to say and stuff like that, for sure. I appreciate the compliment, Raymond. Really nice. And Tom Duke, you're hilarious too. J.O.'s saying, that's awesome, brother. Congrats on 12 years. That's a huge deal. Yeah, I had to, man. The last time I was drunk, J.O., I was in a Florida jail, and I had the worst hangover, and I was sharing a jail with a transgendered individual who was just finding God and was reading the Bible to me for like 12 hours straight. And, they put me in that jail cell because they thought it would mess with me being in a cell with an individual like that. But they didn't know that I was like a commie liberal from Canada. And I'm like, these are people that I'm with and I'm cool with in all kinds of ways. We actually became best friends. And it was funny because that was the first day that I actually shaved my head for the first time in my life. In 2010, when I was in jail, the last time I was drunk, I had hair down to my shoulders. I had long blonde hair. I was a rocker. And I had my cellmate shave my head. I said, if I'm going to be in jail for the weekend because of my DUI and the things that I did that weekend, I'm going to go ahead and get a free haircut. And she shaved my head, and like I had my bald head for the first time. It was like a rite of passage. And it was like, that's like, you know what? I shaved my head because I'm quitting alcohol today. And that was really the change. And I've shaved my head since, and I've stayed sober since. and stuff like that. And when I got out of jail that day, all the rest of the guys in the pod, because it's very segregated. I'm not gonna lie. This is a Florida jail. The white guys hang out one side, the black guys hang out on one side. And I want to do what all the black guys were doing. They were playing cards, they were playing basketball, and the white guys were reading newspapers and watching TV. And I was like, man, I'd rather go play cards with these guys, or I'd rather go play basketball. But you can't do that when you're in a Florida jail. You have to stick with your own kind, and it's that crazy. But when I was leaving, all the guys in the pod started yelling, "Your boyfriend's leaving!" Yelling at the transgender, my cellmate. They were like, "Your boyfriend's leaving!" And they were like, "Oh, you shut up!" Man, this is my life. I'm telling you, I've lived one. I'm not lying. This is crazy stuff. But I appreciate that, J.O. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of soul searching, a lot of trying to improve myself and getting out of my head and just understanding what a fuck up I am and just trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Kareem Thomas saying, y'all need to remember the main core of this Raptors team is Pascal, Fred, and OG. I'm just glad these three are healthy for season. This is exactly right. Kareem, thank you for saying this. This is what I've been trying to say is like, listen, we've got to remember who the main important players on this team are. Scotty Barnes is the rookie. He was not supposed to have super amounts of pressure on him. In fact, there were times during the season where I was like, he could go rest and maybe not play or do things, and it would be fine. We'd be okay still. He's like an added bonus on top right now. But as his career goes on, he's going to be more and more essential for sure. But at this point in time right now, with our team and the way things are, neither Thad or Scotty are absolutely essential for us to win. I mean, they really help us get there, but that's the thing. Kareem is exactly right. Our main core and our most important players are the ones he just named right there. And I agree with that. Curtis is saying, do you think Flynn would be starting? No. I think they're more likely to bump Precious into the starting lineup with Scotty or Gary out. I fully expect it to be like Fred, OG, Pascal, Precious, and Birch be in the starting lineup tonight. Something like that. If all three of those guys aren't playing. If Gary plays, he'll start. I'll bet you money. Callie's saying, kudos to you, Alex. Just love your passion, your wisdom about our Raptors team, and also very proud of your 12 years sober. Yeah, some people tell me you should be anonymous because that's what AA is and stuff like that. But no, I feel like I'm a good example for a lot of people. I sponsor people. I've helped people get out of it themselves. And, I'm that kind of guy. Like, I'd even talk about it right here. If you guys wanted to turn this into an AA meeting all of a sudden real quick because somebody needed help or something like that, or you wanted to talk to me privately about stuff like that, I'm there for people because I love helping people make their lives better and to beat that demon, because that demon in particular is so insidious in our society and how it takes joy and good things in people's lives away from them all the time. I lost my marriage because of my drinking. So there's all kinds of things you can lose. You can lose your job. You can lose so much. You can lose your ability to walk. You can, from things like that. So it's really important. And so Sue's here. Good morning, Sue. Let's get these guys tonight. Sue, I know you're going to the game on Wednesday, and I really, really hope you can bring it. Please, Sue, bring it the right way like you used to for roller derby games. Oh my gosh. Gee, you like my story. It's a crazy story. I have so many crazy Florida stories, like from different stuff. I was in jail with Gary Michael Hilton, which was like a serial killer that was really famous. Like he killed a bunch of people in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And he was in the same jail as, not in the same cell or in the same pod, but he was in the jail at the same time as me when I was in there, which is so crazy. Yeah. Tom Duke's saying that's fantastic testimony story about stopping drinking. I appreciate that, Tom. It's very nice words, man. Callie's saying, gonna get my green bag ready for tonight. Callie's a green bag enthusiast. We call it Cali sober. That's what they call it, California sober. So it's like Cali sober. Grandma with a green bag, no stress. I love it, Callie. I love it. Right after this, I'm going out back and sitting in my backyard and just enjoying nature with a little puff. Oh yeah. Sue's saying maybe Sixers underestimate us now that we have guys out, and that's a mistake. I say let them do that. We'll show them up. Yeah, I think this is actually maybe a possible strength for us today, is that like the fan nation's real confident right now. I mean, obviously they're coming in here and they're trying to roast me. And, there's different things going on right now with the press saying different things about how the outcome of this series is going to be now. Once again, they're always going to underestimate us. They're always going to undervalue us, and they're not going to give us enough credit for what we still have ready to go, like Kareem's saying. That's what I want to say, what Kareem's saying here right now. Last game was an outlier for the Raptors because they had the whole roster healthy. The team knows how to put up a show when they're undermanned. So I expect a dogfight from them tonight. Yeah, I like that actually, Kareem. That's you're right in some ways. Because we had everybody healthy, this may have been the reason why we lost the game. We needed a couple of guys hurt to actually put our best effort out there. That's very interesting thing. G's asking, do we have any alligator stories? Yeah, I do have alligator stories. When I was a little kid, growing up in Tallahassee, because I moved to Tallahassee when I was 4 years old. Born in Toronto, lived here for the first 4 years of my life, and then moved to Tallahassee in 1979 as a 4-year-old and was raised in Tallahassee there. And in the neighborhood where I grew up, there was a drainage pond not too far. And there was an alligator in that drainage pond. And we were little kids, it's like Goonies. It's like Stand By Me, that kind of like fun. You have a pack of neighborhood kids and they're out doing their adventures and stuff. And we're out back at that drainage pond and the alligator is there. We know it's there. It's just we're doing stuff because we do stuff out there. It's our fun place to hang out. And my brother and one of the neighbor kids, my younger brother, had built a boat out of cardboard and styrofoam. They basically took like styrofoam and stapled cardboard on top of it, and they had oars, and they were going out into the lake with this styrofoam cardboard. It wasn't cardboard, it was actual wood, because if it got wet, obviously it would have disintegrated. So they made like a boat out of styrofoam, floating on styrofoam with wood. And they're out there paddling in the middle of the lake. And boy, did we get them. Oh my gosh, we got them good. The older brothers, myself and the older brother of the other kid. We're like, there's the gator. And you should have seen those two. They jumped off that boat. And they ran, right? They were running on top of the water like Benny Hill or some shit. Like it looked like Three Stooges. Wah, 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 wah. And it wasn't even there. The alligator wasn't there. We were just fucking with them. But they like ran out. And I think that boat might still be out in the middle of that drain. It's not out there. This is like 40 years ago. Come on. But like that boat was out there just like in the middle of the lake for like months after that. We'd go out there like, yeah, your boat's still out there. I've got more alligator stories, but that's the one that just came to my mind. Oh my gosh. Random Gamers here, another good, respectful Philly fan. Good morning, friends. Excited for today. I don't want to jinx, but I'm hoping for an injury-free game this time. Should be fun to see how the series unfolds. Yes. That was really unfortunate, and we appreciate you having the respect and understanding that, like, yeah, this sucks. It just sucks. But like Kareem's saying, sometimes when the Raptors are hurt, we're a little more dangerous because our guys are more motivated to make up for what's missing. And then maybe we were too on our laurels on Saturday because everybody was healthy and, we feel full strength. So now maybe we'll have something. Now, obviously, we're going to have more of a chip on our shoulders to do better this time. But yeah, once again, Random Gamer made the best team win. And let's just compete and have a good time as fans of the sport and see a great series. We just want to see good basketball and nobody get hurt. I agree with you. Totally. Tom Duke's saying, okay, he wants an impression of Crocodile Dundee. Oh, I do this one good, Tom. All right. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Oh, Tom did the impression thing today. All right, G saying, whom do you think Nurse puts on Maxie? I think when we start with Fred, let Fred have a good shake at it because Fred's that kind of competitor. He wants to improve and do way better on him. And of course, he still have the experience and stuff like that. But if that's not working, I say you throw different looks at him. It's that kind of thing where if we're going to throw different looks at Embiid, well, let's try and throw different looks at Maxie also. And see if OG can do a little bit better on him at times. If we have to bring in Malachi and Armani, try them on him. Try Delano on him. Just try different people to see who can keep up with him and have some success, at least trying to slow him down. Because this, like I said, this is in my keys to victory tonight. Slow down Maxie is number 1 tonight. Beat them on the boards is number 2. And 3 is force turnovers. Those are the 3 things we absolutely have to do way better tonight if we're going to try and win game 2 tonight, for sure. Yeah. Chris Blackwell, another new name. Utah's length and speed can shut down Maxie. Yeah, okay. Are you Utah fan? I don't have any problem with Utah. G saying Delano may be interesting for this series. Yeah, I think that the door might be open for any of these guys. They're all going to get at least a try, and whoever is doing well will get that time and those minutes to possibly fill in for missing Scotty Barnes, Thad Young, that kind of stuff. You also said, I think he meant Yuta. Oh, you mean Yuta, like the player? Yeah, Yuta's length and speed. Yeah, he showed that at the end of the game. Yeah, I was confused, Chris. I'm like, are you a Jazz fan? Yeah, Yuta, he did a good job stopping Maxey from getting 40 points the other night. Maxey got 38. They were trying to get him the 40 piece at the end of the game, and Yuta was the one who's guarding him and stopping him pretty effectively. So very interesting. Yeah, that may be who. Yeah, maybe they bring in Yuta. The way Nick was describing bringing guys in, it's more like he sees Yuta as a replacement for Gary Trent, because he described him as a wing shooter, as if we need another perimeter wing shooter, then I'll bring him in for Gary Trent. And then when he's talking about filling in for Thad and Scotty, he's talking more about playing more minutes for Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, and Kem Birch, and filling in their minutes that way, just giving them a lot of stuff. Yeah, the chosen one. Yeah, Yuta's a badass. Honestly, we want Takeshi to get stuff to write about. We want Yuta in the game doing badass things so the Japanese media can have a field day. That's what we want. All right, let me see what we got next. Yeah, Takeshi's excited, I bet. And I love whenever he's in the press conference, and as soon as like, okay, go ahead, Takeshi, and Nick is always like, hey, Takeshi. Hey, he's always happy to see me. He's like, hello, coach. And he's like, how are you, Takeshi? And he's like, I'm very well. Thank you for asking, Nick Nurse. It's like, oh, it's so cool. Like, I love the camaraderie between some of the press and our guys and the way they ask some questions, stuff like that. Takeshi's one of my favorites for sure. All right, let's see. We've done the ref check. As I said, is James Capers, Mark Lindsay, and JB DeRosa tonight. Our alternate is Ray Acosta. He's a younger ref. He probably won't be involved. And then I said some keys to the victories. We've gone over the injury report. Like I said, I think if anybody's going to show up tonight out of those three, it'll be Gary Trent, and that'll be because he's had an 11th hour feeling better from his sickness, which has basically been the flu. He does not have COVID. He has a flu-like sickness, and that is what is holding him back and made him look so bad in the first game. Lumpy Rex is saying the Takeshi stuff is hilarious. Takeshi's just a badass. Like, honestly, if he comes to Toronto, he's like somebody I want to hang out with. I'm like, Takeshi, man, tell me about Japan. Teach me about your world. I really love Japan. Japan is awesome in all kinds of ways. Not just Yuta Watanabe, but like anime. I love Japanese wrestling. I'm a really big all Japan, like history, like Giant Baba, Tenru, Jumbo Tsuruda. Those are my Ricky Chosu. These are my guys. I love all Japan old wrestling from the 80s, like with Terry Funk and Stan Hansen over there, Abdullah the Butcher, the Road Warriors. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Tom Duke's ready for that mascot matchup. That's what's coming up next. That's right. Real quick, let me see what DJ's saying. If Embiid is going to be swinging elbows, Raptors have to adjust. That's why Rodman was so important to Jordan's Bulls against the Pistons. Embiid builds up in power by being uber aggressive. I agree with this. This is what we're saying. We got to. Chris said something to this effect yesterday in his interview, saying that they have receipts, like what I've been saying, that they've got to hit him back, that we've got to show him that he can't do this to us, that we're going to stand up to him and we're going to hit back. Is basically what Chris Boucher was saying, is that they have to show him. And this is kind of the factor we've been talking about this weekend. You're talking about Dennis Rodman with the Bulls. We talk about Serge Ibaka, what he did for us in the past. Charles Oakley, he's done for the Knicks and also for the Raptors and his career and stuff like that. That kind of role needs to step up tonight. And if we're trying to pinpoint who this person is, to me, it's going to be one of these three guys that come off the bench that are really big. Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, or Kem Birch. One of those three guys has just got to have that edge and do something like that. Yeah. J.O. says he remembers Terry Funk from ECW. Yeah, Terry Funk is such a badass. I love Terry Funk so much. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I was really privileged to be able to see him wrestle in 1999 against Abdullah the Butcher here in Toronto. Really up close at ringside. Really cool stuff. But yeah. And you would know about ECW being in Philadelphia. You know, that is a big, Philadelphia is a big ECW city. And I loved ECW in the late 90s. This is the best. Aiden's here again. No Scotty tonight, unfortunately, but expected. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. It could be something crazy where he shows up all of a sudden tonight. They say he's doubtful. Like, nothing's set in stone yet. Any one of these guys could show up, but it's more likely they're not going to play. But I do think that Gary Trent's going to play. For some reason, I have some feeling that Gary Trent Jr. will be available tonight. G saying, do you think Bonga gets time? Yeah, I think he will. Bonga is actually a secret weapon, Aiden. Don't laugh. because honestly, this dude is our stash extra 6'9" guy. Like, you've seen our roster, how we have all these 6'9" guys. Well, Bonga is one of our guys on coming up in the system that is exactly like this. Because when you have a 6'9" guy that can dribble the ball up the court, can block shots, can rebound, can shoot the three, can do everything just like Scotty, just like OG, just like Pascal. He's another one of those guys. And actually, every time I've seen him play, he's been very capable. He doesn't cause problems. He doesn't fuck up on defense. He doesn't cause turnovers. He's mostly doing the right plays all the time. Yeah. Teflon saying Bobby Boucher, Chris Boucher will tackle Embiid. I'd love to see Chris just like hit him in the face one time, maybe just for fun. Just pop him right in the mouth. Just get back, just real quick. And he'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who knows what'll happen then? G saying Bonga is a big body. Don't need him for points. Yeah, we need him for rebounding. We need him for possibly rim protection. And, just also the other thing he's really good at is getting in the passing lane and getting steals. He's just a really good defender in some ways. He's a really good defender. J.O. saying, I was a huge Sabu guy. I got to see him live in a basketball gym taking on Taz. Man, I had a similar experience to this. I saw Sabu wrestle somebody in a high school gym here in Toronto, and he was like the doorman of Sneaky D's here in Toronto. This is like this restaurant on the West End that's kind of a club, college hangout. And he was the doorman there, and his name was Bloody Bill Scullion. And Sabu and him Sabu put him through a flaming table on in that match in this small high school gym. There were like 200 people there. It was so badass. So I've had these experiences that you've had, J.O. This is awesome. We have a lot in common here. I'm a huge Sabu fan too. I love Sabu, and I was so sad that his girlfriend died last year. And it's just been hard for him dealing with the death of Melissa. It's been really hard on Sabu, but he's one of my favorites. Him and Rob Van Dam's my favorite wrestler is Rob Van Dam. Because, I'm a, 420 guy too. So Sue's saying, and Bonga had some good scoring games with 905. So he could get us a few, which would be awesome. Yeah, I think that, he's going to get the easy lay-ins and stuff like that. If he gets the ball near the basket on an offensive rebound, he can be good for that kind of stuff. And his work in 905 was really solid. Like, the thing I look at when I watch Bonga is he making mistakes? Is he fucking up? And quite often, I don't see him fucking up. He's more often making the right play and executing it and being successful. Teflon saying, I want to see more Kem Birch alley-oops when Embiid comes out of the paint. Yeah, there were a couple of alley-oop plays. Like, I still think that synergy in between Fred VanVleet and Kem Birch is so good. Like, that one pick and roll they did in game one where Kem dunked it, and he just threw it up and he dunked. That was fantastic. Then we need more of that kind of stuff of our guys playing off of each other and doing more to get easier shots by give and go, screens, pick and roll, any of that kind of stuff. It's always much better than, say, Fred or Pascal or Gary trying to dribble at the top of the court and do stuff one-on-one isolation. I hate that shit. I wish they would play off of each other more. Way more. Calapoon, good to see you again. It seems to me OG or Precious are the most likely to be able to punish Embiid just because they're so strong. They'll have to be kind of stealthy about it, keeping in mind Embiid's floppiness. Yeah, he really is overreacting. He is kind of doing that soccer player kind of embellishment of any kind of contact in different ways. Like when Pascal pushed him when he was sitting down, you saw how he lurched, like he went, oh, like he really got pushed. He was really overreacting. And then when they didn't call anything, that's when he got pissed off. I'm like, dude, you're overreacting. That's why you look like you got pushed. It's not that he pushed you that hard or anything like that. He was basically, like I said, he was trying to make sure he didn't step on him. So he's like pushing him away from like clomping on him, like what he did to Scotty. Let's see. Yeah, but I like those two guys as far as strength and maybe matching them up, Kala, because that's what we got to think about is who is going to stand up to them physically in this kind of situation and what's happened and stuff like that. G saying what Sixers did well was keep the scoring up even when Embiid was off. Raps need to go on runs when he's off. I think we don't need to worry about whether he's on or off the court. We just need to go on runs in general and just try and beat them because there's been times where, yeah, we have excelled when he's been off the court, but also we've done really good when he's on the court also. So I don't really buy into this whole thing about when Joel Embiid's out of the game, we need to capitalize on it. I think it's not that much different in some ways. It's like we can capitalize on things once he's in the game, Precious trying to go around him and stuff like that. And also when he's out of the game, yeah, there's some benefits also. But I don't look at that as much as like the announcers talk about that all the time. Matt Devlin says, "Oh well, Joel Embiid's out of the game. They need to do something now." I'm like, well, they need to do something all the time. It doesn't matter whether he's in the game or not. Kareem's saying, "Need Masai to go to Jurassic Park, stand up on stage, and say fuck Philly." Yes. Yes, that old fuck Brooklyn thing that he did years and years ago. That'll never go away. That's always going to be some part of the legend of Masai Ujiri. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Somebody maybe went out there on Saturday and said that shit on the mic at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, Tom Duke's been waiting long enough. It is time for the real mascot matchup, which is the serialized saga of the mascot for the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors mascot. You know the Raptor. He's such a badass athlete with his dunks and his silly hijinks at games. Well, we've been telling a story about him all season, and this is just the latest installment. And once again, the real Raptor mascot is at this fair. It's like a Americana fair. It's like they're involved in different fun things like shooting fireworks and shooting apples off each other's heads with arrows. And this time they're involved in a pie eating contest. Yeah, it's the Raptor against cosplay Ben Franklin. This is a dude who lives in Philadelphia. He loves to dress up as Ben Franklin and go to reenactments and stuff like that. That's who this is. And they're having a pie eating contest. They have all kinds of pies in front of them. And the Raptor's like, I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to eat. Well, he didn't realize he underestimated the amount that Ben Franklin can fucking put in his fat ass belly because he fucking went crazy. It's almost like, you know how some animals can detach their jaw and open up and just eat more like a snake? Well, that's basically what Ben Franklin did at this pie eating contest. He opened his jaw up and he ate some fucking pies. He ate the shit out of those pies and he fucked up the Raptor in that pie eating contest on Saturday night. Oh yeah, he did. The Raptor was like he was standing beside himself. He couldn't even believe it. Like even at one point, Ben Franklin like hit him off like this. Like they're sitting next to each other. They're at a table like a normal eating contest, and he hit him off. He smacked him right in the face, the Raptor, and his head went around backwards like he does sometimes in the games. He's like, whoa. He wasn't ready for it. He didn't realize the physicality and the desire that Ben Franklin had to get those fucking pies down his fat fucking face. And he did. He won the pie eating contest. And the Raptors is dismayed because he's lost this one. And he's like, oh man, I don't want to lose another one. And well, this is the next competition. It's the dance-a-thon. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, the dance-a-thon. And that's basically where you dance on the dance floor and whoever dances the longest wins. So he's dancing and he's got a nice little pretty lady he's dancing with, and they're gonna we're gonna dance all night, honey, is what the Raptors thinking. And Ben Franklin's got some I don't know, sketchy kind of lady of the night, kind of maybe he's paying her by the hour, kind of yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And he's dancing with her, and like we'll see who wins this dance-a-thon tonight. This is the real Raptor matchup. And that is your story for today. That's your cliffhanger. Who's going to win this dance off? It's like they got to play. They got to dance as long as the music's playing. And whoever stops dancing first loses. So that's the competition today. Oh, yeah. Tom Duke says he's not in any rush. He does love pie. Yes. Pie can be very good. I like pumpkin pie and apple pie with like cheddar cheese. That's something really American and weird. Some places, regional places, people eat cheddar cheese on their pumpkin pie or their apple pie. And some people are like, why are you fucking eating cheese on your pie? I'm like, no, it's actually a pretty good combination. But I really love pumpkin pie. That's like my favorite pie for sure. All right, let's see. Tom's saying, I do love pie. DJ saying, Calipoon, you're right. It's got to be dealt with stealthy. Scotty is so stealthy, scrappy, sweet. Listen, the one thing about OG Anunoby is that he is deceivingly strong. Like if you look at him, you don't necessarily understand how much power he has in his core body. And he's the one who could be very sneaky with get back. Oh yeah, OG, because he's strong enough. We've seen him flip Dennis Schroeder on his head. We've seen him do some amazing feats of strength. And, all it takes is just a little OG elbow right into the side or something. boom, a little bit of that kind of stuff, and maybe that kind of stuff could happen. So I could see OG being the guy who does some dirty stuff tonight on the down low. It's like, unfortunately, there are receipts that need to be paid from the other night for sure. Yeah, and DJ's already missing Scotty already. Yeah, you know what? It really was nice to see him post something yesterday, thanking everybody for the well wishes and the prayers and the hope that he will be back and healthy faster and sooner than later. And that is really what we can hope for. And he has his youth and his health on his side, and that will really help. And if the power of prayer, I'm not a very religious person, but if you have thousands of people, you have a lot of people all over Canada that are thinking good intentions and good thoughts for you, that can be very powerful in some ways also to help him like get back and be ready quickly. So who knows? I don't know what to expect this afternoon with the injury report as it updates as the day goes on. It could be, like I said, more likely that Gary Trent is the one who is available and ready to play just because of the nature of his issues. There is an outside chance that these other two guys could end up playing also, as weird as that sounds. That there is some sort of way that could happen. Because, like, one thing is Thad's thumb is his left hand, and it's not necessarily his right hand. And if he's not in super bad pain, he could try and wear a glove and try and still play tonight. But they are listed as doubtful as it is right now. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, "Oh my gosh, Ben is competitive. Dance-a-thons are always cliffhangers." Well, he just stuffed himself with a bunch of pie. So we'll have to see if he can handle the endurance of being on his feet and dancing with this skag that he met at the Philadelphia docks. Yeah, and I don't even know if they have docks in Philadelphia. Is there any water in Philadelphia? I don't even know. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying OG is going to go Hulk this game. I really do want to see OG assert himself and do something. The main thing that we need to have happen tonight is we need at least one of the Raptors to show up and be the best player on the court. We need one of these guys to be the Tyrese Maxey of the game 2. That Tyrese Maxey can be game 1, Tyrese Maxey. Well, tonight we need Pascal Siakam to be game 2. That guy, the main best player on the game in the court. That's what I'm saying. G saying Joker, LeBron, and Embiid all threw shots at Scotty. Wonder if some weird way it's a compliment as they recognize he will be great. I think that's true, actually, G. That is telling that these guys are so frustrated that they've lashed out at him. And that may be indicative of they see the future and they see that eventually these guys we're going to be older, and this guy's going to be taking us to school in his prime at that point. Oh yeah, I like that. Mr. Rudy Poo. I love this name. This is a rock name right here. People sitting courtside at the game heard Thad say, "I think I broke my thumb." Damn. Ooh, yeah. I mean, the way he was holding it right afterwards, I did look real serious. And it did look real bad. Like, once again, though, I have the injury report right here, and they're saying it's hyperextended. So they're not saying that it's broken, at least. And with all the testing and imaging that they've done the past 2 days, it's just hyperextended. So it's not actually technically broken. But he thought it was, probably from the way it felt. Oh, yeah, it probably hurt real bad. Marston Carter saying, yes, there are docks in Philly. Okay, yeah, because it's right on the edge across the water from New Jersey, right? Yeah, I got to remember, like, I know Pennsylvania's got a varied, like, geography to it. There's very mountainous on the western side, and then it's more different, like more like New York and New Jersey on the eastern side and stuff like that. But thanks for being here, Marston, and thanks for the Sixers in 5. We'll see how it happens. Hey, you're giving us at least one win. I appreciate that as a Sixer fan. Talking Sports is saying Philadelphia has 2 rivers. Okay, so yeah, it's a skank from down between the 2 rivers. The hooker from down there. DJ saying his thumb was inverted. He snapped it back in place before he got up. Dr. Thaddeus reset his own bone. That's cool. I like that. Random Gamer saying Fred VanVleet always goes off against Philly. I like him as a person, hate him as a player. When he gets hot, he practically is unguardable. I'm hoping we can stop him from getting hot. Yeah, you guys, listen, that's what I was saying. It was real fishy in game 1 that the 2 guys that got in foul trouble right away, Chris Boucher and Fred VanVleet, are 2 of the biggest weapons we've had against y'all this season. Like, Chris Boucher's had monster games against the Sixers. And Fred getting those 2 fouls right away, and you saying that, yeah, he's had huge games against you guys this year. That's what I'm saying. That's fishy as fuck to me, and I don't like that. Because especially like when they're kind of shitty fouls, they're not really that great of fouls, and they're right away that early. And all of a sudden, Chris Boucher can only play 15 minutes. He's fouled out, and Fred cannot play as much as he's supposed to because he got 2 fouls in the first minute of the game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Tom Duke's going after Marston. I love it. Go back to the river, you bottom dweller. Oh my goodness. All right. It's about an hour and a half. I don't know how much more I got to say, unless you guys have any more questions real quick or something like that. Basically, we just got to really play way better. We have to have better energy. We have to work harder. We have to try and beat them to loose balls. We have to try and beat them to the rebounds. We have to try and beat them and keep up with them by like not letting Maxey get such open shots and really watch their 3-point shooting, because their 3-point shooting did way better. They shot 50% from the 3-point line in game one, and we can't have them shoot that well, whether it's Yang, whether it's Harden, whether it's Korkmaz coming in all of a sudden, or Maxey. Any of these guys, they cannot shoot threes this well. We did a good job on Embiid. We need to continue that and get some receipts. And also, let's try and limit James Harden a little bit better this time, because James Harden had way too much going for him in the first game against them also. So those are the kind of things I'm looking at for keys to the victory tonight. Obviously, we got to have somebody step up and carry our team in the way that a superstar will. And I hope it's Pascal. We'll see what happens. Tom Duke saying, let's go. Sue's saying, let's go. G's saying, rebounding is key. It is such a key battle. We really, really need to win this battle. And Chris Boucher, you get out there and you do your best Dennis Rodman impersonation tonight. Oh, yeah. DJ saying, Raptors almost always lost the first game and sometimes the second. Take every series to the end. This is a thing. DJ's right. We lose first games and then we still win series. We still win championships and stuff like that. So never count us out. Always, until you absolutely kill us, Sixer fan, you should not be feeling too good until you absolutely kill us. It's the kind of thing you're like, you want to get this over with and just get us out of here. Well, you got to take it step by step. Don't get ahead of yourself, because we're not going to be an easy out either way. Brian's saying, praying that no one else gets hurt tonight. Yeah, literally not going to do that on the stream today, but I will do a little thing when I do my normal thing pregame tonight. Tom Duke saying, definitely rebounds. And Rahul is saying, if Gary is playing, it would be crucial. Yeah, I really hope so too, Rahul. And thanks for being here. 9:30 a.m. Eastern time every single morning talking Raptors. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, Rahul. And Flynn, Svi. I'd like to see Svi get a chance, get a crack to come out there and make some good things happen for him and possibly ingratiate him into possibly getting more time because we can trust him. Oh, yeah. And Rahul's also saying, Joel Embiid and James Harden depend on the refs to blow the whistles. Yeah. And Layleen is hitting the main thing right there. Refs helped Sixers. They did in the first game. They did for sure. All right, guys. Thanks so much for so many people being here today. And thanks for all the likes and just the time today with me. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow to react to the game tonight. Hopefully, we'll be reacting to a good Raptor win where the Raptors have stolen a game in Philadelphia, and now the series is in our favor, because that's the reality of it. The pressure is still heavily on the Sixers to hold their whole home court. And if they don't win tonight, that is a disaster for them in a lot of ways. So them playing perfect in the first game and making sure they won the first game is exactly what they needed to do. But they have to do it again tonight. And now we're angry, and now we're hurt, and we're like a hurt animal in the corner that's very dangerous. And it's that kind of thing with the Raptors. So I fully hope and expect the Raptors to come out with a different intensity and a different kind of energy tonight. And hopefully they're the team that's the aggressor, the team that's putting them on their heels and doing whatever the fuck they want to do, instead of Sixers doing what they did on Saturday too. Seth saying, Raps also send triple teams and foul a lot. Yeah, we do that. We got to do everything we can. It's like, listen, I've admitted the Raptors are a dirty team during the season. We have to be dirty. We've been dirty at different times, but a lot of good NBA teams are dirty. The Miami Heat are another dirty team. The Boston Celtics are another dirty team. The best teams in the Eastern Conference are dirty to a degree. And that basically is just like fouling a lot and fouling people, and that's the way. But it's a different thing when you're fouling people or you're trying to hurt people. And when you start hitting people in the face and doing things like that, that's a little bit over the line. Like, we can be dirty as far as like we're going to slap your arms or slap you the ball, slap those kind of things, but we're not trying to hit you in the face. And that's the difference between what we do normally and what Joel Embiid did on Saturday night right there. Yeah. All right. Let's go, Raptors Nation. This is game 2. It's not absolutely essential, but it is a game that would be badass to win tonight. Is Philly's trying to hold court. They've got to try and hold court, and the pressure is still on them. Trust me. It seems like it's on us, but it isn't. Rahul saying Joel Embiid gets too much foul calls and becomes hard to defend him. Yeah, he's very hard to defend. And it's really a testament to the Raptors' great defensive ability to do some of the things they do with Joel Embiid when he's absolutely torching the rest of the league quite often. That is a real testament to us. Let's go, Brian. Good to see you here again this morning. And Seth, Sixers were fouling as well, though. Yep, let's keep it real. And Tom Duke saying Sixers surprised themselves. Wait with how well they did. Not today. Tides are going to turn. That's what I'm hoping too, Tom Duke. All right, let's go, Raptors Nation. Thanks again for being here. Please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I'm getting a lot of good subscriptions this week because of the playoffs and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't mind other fans of other teams following me and being here and interacting with us. We just all share a love for the NBA and the sport and stuff like that. And, there's so much division in this world. Let's unite in all the different ways that we can. All right, let's go, Raptors. I want to see some good stuff tonight from Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Precious Achua, Kem Birch, Gary Trent Jr. Show up, man. Hopefully you can play Malachi Flynn, Yuta Watanabe, Svi Mahalik, Isaac Bonga. All these guys come out and do some good stuff. Armani Brooks. Oh, yeah. All right. Thanks, Laylene, for subscribing. And Seth, of course, it's the playoffs, baby. That's entertainment. Oh, yeah, that's entertainment.